We are introduced to Red, an apothecarist currently residing in the extreme town of Zultan. He is a well-known personality in town, but he actually hides a past. He is formerly known as Gideon, a member of the hero's party, who is a major obstacle to the Demon Lord's army, with Ruti, his sister, as the hero. But because of his inability to improve, Ares, the sub-leader, banished Gideon for being a liability to the team and his sister. He quit as a result, but being a knight of Bahamut, it will be a disgrace if he returns to his order, so he asked Ares to keep his fleeing a secret. Leaving his weapons acquired through the party, he left to start a new life in Zultan. One day he meets Albert, one of his former companions in the party, comes to town to defeat an owlbear that appeared in the forest, but because of his arrogance, and because he is no longer a knight, Red refused. One night, a friend of his, Tanta, is afflicted by an illness that will render him blind, if not cured within 24 hours. Risking punishment from the Adventurers Guild, Red went into the closed-off forest to gather the plants needed to cure him. In the process of gathering the plants, he finds that the forest was set afire by Albert, and encountered the owlbear in the process and slayed it. Tanta is saved, and Gonzi, his father, asked what Red wants in return. This resulted in Red getting his own apothecary building, built by Gonzi with materials Red purchased. It became the start of the quiet life Red wants. As Red waits for customers, a familiar person enters his drugstore. It is Rit, short for her full name Rizlet, a princess of the Duchy of Loggervia, a major military power. She is in Zultan, the town where Red resides, to escape a power struggle within her family before they are torn apart. She intends to live with Red, which he reluctantly accepts. As Rit settles in with Red, his former comrades are making another move, this time with new recruits, notably Tisay Garland, gifted with the divine blessing of the assassin. The episode also mentions their backstory. Red, formerly known as Gideon, a member of the hero's party, who would later affiliate themselves with the Duchy of Loggervia. Rid is a brash B-rank adventurer who would claim the duchy won't need the hero's help. But, while battling the advance of the Demon Lord's army, Rizlet suggested to her master, the Duke of Loggervia, that she lead a raid into a food store of the Demon Lord's army. It was an utter failure, and to Rizlet's shock, she finds out that her master was none other than Shizandin, the multi-limbed general of the Demon Lord's army. She was nearly killed at the hands of Shisandan's minions, thanks to Gideon's timely intervention, sensing something was wrong. In the end, Ruti the hero slew Shisandan with ease, but that already put a dent in Rizlet's pride as an adventurer of the duchy. She would mope for a while until a pep talk form Gideon regained her will to fight, and eventually defeat the Demon Lord's army. Gideon was later banished from the hero's party for being a liability, and settled in Zultan as a pharmacist. After Rit went shopping for a bed from Storm Thunder's shop, she and Red successfully had the safe painkiller Red concocted approved for distribution through Rit's connections. It is angrily refused at first by Dan, the one in charge of approvals, because of a similar medicine but with addictive properties being approved months earlier, and he was blamed for its impact. With the painkiller approved, they needed another product to market it with. The two then make and sell a health supplement come cold and fever remedy in the form of a cookie, to eliminate the bitter taste which turns off most customers. It sold out in hours, which is another success for the duo. Meanwhile, Danon got sick of Ares' means of running things around, as their first mission with the desert people in the search for the Demon Lord's weapon faltered. Knowing that Ares banished Gideon Red out of jealousy because of his abilities and he wasn't a liability after all, Danon decided that things like this didn't happen with Gideon around. He, with the approval of Ruti, the hero, then goes out to look for Gideon. This episode also explains the ins and outs of the blessing skill system, which includes the way to leveling up. Life at Red and Rit's apothecary shop goes on with the occasional surprised group of adventurers shocked with seeing Rid Zultan's most formidable adventurer in Red's shop helping about the business and living with him. Just then, Rid had a sudden craving for mead, so she went to town to buy some. Just then, Albert came to the shop, berating his life choices and demands answers from Red about who killed the owlbear. Red denies any involvement with what happened to the owlbear, provoking Albert to attack him, but is foiled by Rit's timely arrival. She is so angry she could kill Albert, who is shocked at the sight of Rit in Red's shop, as well as Red's quickness. He came near them in a split-second, bottle of mead in hand. Later, as they visited Zeph's sauna, they notice a real lack of customers. It is because of new competition, a bigger, fancier sauna built by the nobles. Now scolded Zeph for his defeatist attitude, stating that they will keep coming back to his sauna. Later in Red's house, as Red, Nao, and Tanta met over tea, Red had an idea of using a potpourri sack in the sauna itself. The idea is a success and earned the place a lot of customers. They even tested the sauna with the potpourri sack in place, with hilarious results. Later that afternoon, Red revealed the reason for her getting a bottle of mead that day. It reminded her of an old tradition in Loggervia, about a married couple traditionally taking time off and drinking mead together. Meanwhile, Theodora asks Tissy if she feels that joining the party was a mistake, as the heroes' party is encountering failure after failure, causing squabbles among the party and causing it to fall apart. Something that, according to Theodora, is non-existent when Gideon Red was still around. The Adventurers Guild pays a visit to the apothecary shop to convince Rit to go back into adventuring again, to the point of bribing even Red with all sorts of things, but they, especially Rit, refuse. Red would give her an amber bracelet afterwards. Meanwhile, the Thieves Guild wants Rit back into adventuring, preferably on their side as well, for fear that she could become a problem to them later if she goes solo. They then convince Dur to blackmail Rit into going back to adventuring, but he fails as well. His tactic of mentioning her royal rank failed. Rit remembers the time before the forces of Lagervia and the party vanquished the Demon Lord's army, when Lagervia is in a pinch and the party went to the nearby Duchy of Sunland to ask for help, but they had to cross the bewitching woods, an area where no human dares enter. With the help of their friend Eurondrala, a high elf, immune to the effects of the woods, Rit thought Eurondrala likes Gideon, but she was wrong. In fact, she urged Rit to pursue his love. They even saw the power of Ruti, the hero, firsthand as she lay waste to the Demon Lord's army. Rit later split from the hero's party to rebuild her homeland and journey on her own later. Speaking of Ruti, she knows Ares did something to make Gideon leave, as she could see through his lies, causing her to punch him to near death. Luckily, she healed him just in time, and now she could feel the hole her brother left behind. While in a medicine delivery to Dr. Newman's clinic, Red saves Jackson, a victim of poisoning, which the doctor diagnoses as a narcotic drug overdose caused by the recently approved painkiller. Red decides against investigating. Members of Albert's party, gone berserk, attack Rit until Albert kills them. Meanwhile, Danon reaches Zultan looking for Red and meets a man named Bowie who is also looking for Red. Red remembers how, as a kid, he would invent reasons to hold Rudi's hand and promise to become a knight so he could adventure with her. Dr. Newman suddenly arrives with an injured Al. Meanwhile, as the hero's party is resupplying in an oasis in the Bloodsand Desert in preparation for another quest, Tiss learns of Ruti's lingering misery caused by her brother's absence. When Al recovers, he says that Adami came to their house and attacked him and his parents with an axe. But luckily, Al's parents are found alive by Red and Dr. Newman. News that Ademi vanished after the attack roused the people of South Marsh in protest, claiming he's being sheltered by the town guard led by Moen, Adami's father. After they hear that Tanta was taken away by the town guard for questioning, Red and Rit pull strings to arrange a meeting with Moen and Tanta. Moen apologizes for Tanta's treatment, but vehemently refuses to consider that his son might have become a potential murderer due to the urges of his blessing, and commissions Rit to find the source of the drug. While Al is in the apothecary, a stranger arrives to give him a red-bladed shotl enchanted with a locate spell. On Moen's request, Rit catches a drug dealer, but is caught in an ambush from which Danon saves her. Danon respects Gideon's desire for a quiet life and thus tells Rit to keep quiet about his presence. They also discover that the assailants are disguised minor demons. As Red and Rit later go into town to find Al a weapon suitable for his blessing, protests against the town guard are heating up, likely staged by Big Hawk himself. Meanwhile, the hero's party has found one of the weapons of the former Demon Lord, an airship. During the fight with its demon guardians, Ares proves his inadequacy as a party member, but refuses to acknowledge his shortcomings. While the airship gives Ruti the chance to retrieve her brother, she refrains from doing so. As Rit deals with Deer and the people who sent the Red Chateau, Big Hawk's henchmen kidnap Al. Al finds out that Big Hawk is responsible for distributing the Devil's Blessing, the narcotic plating Zultan. Big Hawk wants to use Al for his own agenda by having him execute Ademi, whom he has in his custody. Al instead frees Ademi, and they are rescued by Red. Red confronts Albert and Big Hawk's gang, and finds out that Big Hawk has been taken over by a contract demon named Belial. Albert, consumed by his ambitions to become a member of the hero's party, tries to attack Red, but Red cuts off his sword hand. Albert and Big Hawk are arrested by the town guard, and Al and Adami reveal Big Hawk's plan to the public, alleviating the crisis. A few days later, however, Bowie visits the possessed Big Hawk in prison, revealing himself as Shizandan, the Demon Lord's general supposedly slain by Ruti, who scolds Belial for making humans aware of the hidden potentials that the Devil's Blessing could unleash in them. After making a new contract with Albert, Belial breaks them both out of jail to join the hero's party, only to have Ruti drawing her sword at them. As Rit and Red starts marketing hand warmers for the winter, Bowie applies as a B-ranked adventurer in Zultan. Ruti receives some Devil's Blessing from Belial, and, wanting more, abandons the hero's party and depart for Zultan in the airship with Tiss. They arrive at Zultan masquerading as simple adventurers, though Ruti did things that could potentially blow their cover. Tissa chances upon Red at a roadside food stall, They recognize each other as seasoned adventurers, which Tisik reports to Ruti. Later, Red and Rit are led to Ruti and Tis break Godwin, the creator of the Devil's Blessing, out of prison, and in order to treat the injuries he sustained in the process, they seek out the local apothecary, which leads to an unexpected reunion with her beloved brother. As Red and Ruti catch up, Aries' treachery comes to light, and Ruti announces that she wants to stay with Red, thus giving up on her being the hero. As she returns to the inn, Ruti experiences a sudden spell of sickness, compelling her to look for a set of elven ruins rumored to be in the area to serve as a CSAT laboratory for making the demon's blessing. Bui is revealed to be responsible for the recent magic drainage in the area through the use of an enchanted crystal heart. Ruti tries to settle in Zultan, but her formidable personality hampers her attempts at inconspicuousness. While taking a bath together, Ruti explains to Rit and Tisse how much of an emotional support her brother is for her, especially since her blessing as a hero has made her inured to feeling any joy. Tis quietly resolves to save Ruti from her forced things from determining their own destiny. Tis shares what she has learned about Ruti with Red and Rit, who conclude that while Ruti's immunities protect her from the Devil's Blessing for now, she will eventually succumb to it if she continues to take it to negate her hero blessing. While Red and Rit prepare to travel to the Elven Ruins to interrogate Godwin, he encounters Danon, who is ecstatic to see him, while Theodora and Albert observe them invisibly. But this Danon is missing a hand, as Red finds out when Rit later tells him about her earlier encounter with Danon. Meanwhile, the imposter Danon guides Aries to Red's shop, which Aries demolishes in his obsessive jealousy of Red. Red travels to the Elven Ruins, actually an abandoned base of a more advanced, long-gone civilization, where he meets Ruti and Godwin and encourages his sister to live her life as she wants, not as her blessing dictates. As they later discuss the effects of Devil's Blessing, Ruti notes that an unprecedented blessing without name seems to have emerged in her. Right afterwards, Aries attacks them, but Ruti defies and abandons him. Aries is then met by Bui, an Asura demon, and the fake Danon. Bui reveals that the ruins shelter an artifact left behind by the first hero, which Aries could use to win Ruti back to his side. Meanwhile, the real Danon meets up with Theodora and Albert, and they continue to hurry to catch back up to Red and Rit. Upon discovering what Aries is up to, the heroes converge upon his position. Bui is attacked by Danon, whom he critically wounds with Aries' help, and reveals himself as Chizandan. They reach the chamber containing the artifact they're looking for. 5 sword blades, siblings of the sacred sword wielded by Ruti and Non. Like Ruti, remnants from the time of the first hero. When Red's group reaches them, the two attack, attempting to kill Red and use the sacred swords to sway Ruti back to her role as the hero. Theodora appears and attacks Ruti to steer her back onto the hero's path. Rit protests against this, pointing out that the one carrying the hero's blessing is not the world's sole savior, but it is really the will of the people that makes somebody, anybody, a hero. Red, Ruti, Rit, Tis, and Godwin rise against their enemies. Red kills Aries, but Chizandan tricks Ruti into touching one of the sacred blades, subjecting her to her blessing's compulsions. Under this urge, she attacks Red, but her blow is intercepted by Tisse. Red manages to disarm Ruti, freeing her from the sacred blade's influence, but her blessing has been nullified. As an act of repentance for her stubborn adherence to her belief in the hero's blessing, Theodora heals Tisse's mortal wound, and all assembled come to the realization that being the hero is not dictated by one's blessing, but their own choices. In the aftermath, Ruti and Tisse relocate to Zultan, where Ruti has been bestowed with a new blessing, which suppresses her previous hero's blessing. Red now fully accepts Rit as his wife, and except for the occasional emergency which Ruti chooses to resolve, his life in Zultan returns to normal. And somewhere in the wilderness, Yarandrula encounters Godwin, who tells her about Red and Ruti's whereabouts, prompting her to rejoin them in Zultan.